Previously on The Business.
Lloyd is here in person. You've braved the rain. More importantly, you've braved the potholes to get here.
And he flew all the way from Cape Town.
Wow. Well, welcome. I know yesterday I sat at the airport for an hour waiting for a broken engine on a 737. So I know what it's like to get here. First of all, welcome, Lloyd. Great to have you in studio.
Thanks very much. I'm quite pleased to be as a Cape Townian on time, to be honest.
And you were early.
Well done. In fact, we were just, in our previous interview, we were just giving massive praise, well, certainly I was, to the entrepreneurship happening in Cape Town and the explosion that's happening there. Let's get to that in a second, because
Sure.
it's a question that I want to ask you as well. But first of all, you've got some conferences happening. You've got some bits and pieces happening that can be very useful to the folks who listen to the show, who we aim at. Those are small businesses. Give us a bit of a background. What do you do with the SME conference?
Yeah, well, firstly, welcome to all the small business owners and people who work in small businesses and entrepreneurs out here. We do a conference called the IMC conference, which is a big corporate conference aimed at high-level corporate CEOs and what have you. And out of that conference, which we've run for 5 years and has done very, very well, we got a lot of requests for, well, what are you doing for small businesses in the same kind of concept? We do a lot of workshops and that kind of thing, which we thought would transfer very well over to the small business market. We spent quite a lot of time researching what was actually going on in the SME sort of space, because we're a small business ourselves. And we looked at all the challenges we faced. And we also saw that there is a hell of a lot of help for people who would like to start businesses or get going, begin the first steps through that. But the area that we found was particularly interesting was the 2 to 6 year old businesses, because it's tough to get through those first 2 years.
The first 2 years that are the big killer.
That's extremely difficult. However, the percentage is above 80%. I'm not sure the exact figure, but somewhere in the region of 82 to 84% of small businesses fail within the first
Lloyd,
5 years.
You've taken Astrid's words out of her mouth. She hot off the press. Yeah.
I'm so sorry, but
No, it's fantastic. You concurring with what we said, exactly what we said.
And we saw that there's a very big problem with. If you have a small business that's grown and has been around, say, 3 years, maybe has 2-3 employees, and suddenly goes out of business, you've got 4 breadwinners out of pocket. The owner's probably in big debt, and I feel it's a huge problem in our economy. And we saw that there's not a lot of support for those companies who have made it through the big bump. 90% of the issue is then, okay, we need financing. But if financing without a plan and without somebody to guide you is irrelevant, you're just throwing money down the drain.
I read something interesting yesterday that was written on behalf of SMEs, saying no, it's perhaps not the financing that is needed, but customers.
Yes. Well, that's an area that gets avoided a lot, is sales. People shy away from sales.
Sales and marketing. Why is that? Why is it regarded as a warm and fuzzy thing and not an absolute science, and it's a strategy, and it needs to be done in a certain way, and it can be, especially nowadays?
Good question, because no sales, no business. So you can have the best financial plan in the world. If you don't have a good sales team in place, you've got a problem. And I'm actually speaking from experience. I had a failed business. I'm a sales and marketing person myself. But I got tied too much up in the books and how we do import and export and all of that kind of thing, and our sales took a dive. So,
did you address that at these conferences? I mean, it seems to me that the conference takes the shape of different modules, if you like, or different. You've got a certain amount of time dedicated to different areas of running a business.
Correct. Our business, the conference is broken up into 2 areas. So there's a conferencing area, which is more a sort of workshop area actually, and then there's an exhibition area. Now, what we've done is divided we've got 4 key topics that we work through. That'll be financing, operations, promotion, and business strategy. So we have 8 keynote speakers who talk throughout the day. We've got a very interesting blend of corporate experts who have SMME products. They sell products to small businesses who give a very interesting overview of what the landscape is in South Africa, where the challenges, where the opportunities. Then we have a very interesting mix of your been there, done that, got ridden over by a bus, put the T-shirt on, and I'm still standing kind of entrepreneur, who's been there and done that, and really has got his stripes, so to speak, or her stripes. So divided up into those 4 topics, we'll have 2 speakers in each area. And yeah, we work slowly through the day where we'll have 2 45-minute talks, one from a corporate, one from an entrepreneur, and then we'll have a break where we go into the second portion of our conference, which is the exhibition hall. We've actually cherry-picked, for want of a better word, but we're very strict on the sort of companies who come in to exhibit there. They need to have an offer or a deal or something that really helps a small business. They need to have that at the conference. So
Is there still space available for somebody who might be listening who hasn't acted on attending the conference and would like to get involved in that kind of thing?
absolutely. As exhibitors, yes, we have, I think we've got 3 spaces available.
Is this in Cape Town?
Yes,
And then
we only have
Johannesburg?
space for 30 stands, so we
Alright.
have 3 available. Johannesburg, that's one of the reasons I'm up here, is to come and talk to clients about getting
Yep.
involved in
Yep.
So
the
that's
Yep.
that's
Joburg gig.
happening 23rd of June, if I'm not mistaken. So there's still
Correct.
plenty of time to get in now.
Just hang on, let's
early
clarify
days.
that. Cape Town is happening 24 March. That's
Yeah.
now.
24
Yeah.
March.
Joburg 23 June and Durban 29 September. Sorry for me butting in, Astrid. I must just clarify
No,
that.
absolutely. It's
Yeah.
really important.
Yeah. I want to just get a bit warm and fuzzy for a second
Sure.
and get away from the facts and figures. Not that you were talking that, but Cape Town is a hotbed at the moment. It's just it's a hive of activity. You cannot turn left or right without seeing somebody doing something amazing. There are a lot
Because
of
Cape Town's so small, you can't
well, I
miss
know,
it.
I know, but I spent some time in Stellenbosch this weekend, and the amount of IT stuff that's going on in Stellenbosch, it's just insane. The amount of international companies that are throwing money at entrepreneurs, at small businesses, is insane. Let's get your perspective on that. Is Cape Town really the new place for new upstarts and young, bright entrepreneurs?
Especially in the IT space, yes, it is. You have these incredible incubators like Bandwidth Barn and 88 miles per hour, and then you have Silicon Cape, which is a bunch of IT guys who've got together and put a platform out for any kind of assistance that anyone can give each other in that space.
Yep.
So I find there's a lot of collaboration that's happening within certain industries. It's I would imagine it's similar up in Joburg, where if it's difficult to find work, you got to make a plan, and a lot of people are actually doing that. But I think one aspect that often gets overlooked is the fact that Cape Town's a lot more cosmopolitan than Johannesburg. We have a lot of foreigners who either spend half of come down for the summer, or who have emigrated there, and they bring knowledge and they bring skills with them. And I think that's been a very interesting thing that I've seen, is foreigners getting involved in
And
South
private
African
venture
businesses.
capital surely finding its way into that space because
Correct.
it's got so many foreigners living there.
Yes. And just my wife being Danish, she's quite involved with the Danish embassy, and through that, the amount of delegations that are, or I'm not sure if that's the correct word, but groups of investors and businessmen coming down to South Africa in general, but specifically Cape Town, to come and look to do business there and invest there is extremely interesting, which gets me on to the point why small business is so exciting in South Africa, because this is the gateway to Africa, and Europeans and Americans especially are catching on to that. So, yeah.
I just quickly, on a side note, want to mention up the N2. Have you seen the Cape Town Film Studios?
Yes.
There is an industry, and it's worth mentioning for small business, because there is a sideline industry that is happening with the Cape Town Film Studios, which are now, according to what I heard, booked up for the next 4 years.
So there's a whole spectrum
There's
of servicing whoever's going to be working
You
there.
cannot
basically.
shoot a feature film in the Cape Town studios for the next 4 years. The spin-off industries for Cape Townians, for South Africans, is massive. So, I mean, just there, right there is a hotbed of activity.
Absolutely.
Lloyd, I have to ask this question because you represent something called living your brand. Tell us a little bit about that.
Living your brand is we're the holding company, you can say, and we do literally live our brand. I mean, I'm specializing in the small business space. I've had 2 small businesses myself, and I've been brought into the company to as new business developer. So all those tricks and ideas and lessons I've learnt and smacks I've got, I'm putting into this conference and trying to, just get people talking together and working together to make something better, because working on your own is tough.
But there's a lot of competition in this space, because you're not the only ones who have recognized a need, and an incredible hunger from small business owners and SME players for more information and to upskill themselves. And it almost seems like if one goes online every day, there is a conference happening somewhere in the country related to the SME sector. So how do you cut through all of that activity and noise as someone who's trying to decide which of the conferences to attend and where to spend their money, and cut out, if you like, the rubbish?
I really appreciate that question, because my two, the two best sponsors and supporters of our show, both of them started off my initial meeting saying to me, this is a very crowded space. This is going to have to be interesting for us to put money into it. And I think the major reason why we are getting successful right now is that we're highly targeted to that 2 to 6 year old business market. And everything that we present is with the intention to help those businesses grow. I'll give you a very good example. I took an idea to Santam, who has been a wonderful support for this, because they take this small business growth very seriously. It's in their own interests to make sure their clients grow. And we went and discussed an idea where small businesses often feel alone, or they don't get the necessary help that they need. And we developed something called the consultation station, which Santam has put together in collaboration with us. So what we've done is got together 12 of the absolute best experts in their field that we could get hold of in Cape Town. We've divided this consultation area up into 6 consultation pods. So the 12 consultants will rotate throughout the day. But a small business owner who might have an issue with financing, for example, can sit down with a finance guru or specialist, or an investor. In one of our guys is an investor from Johannesburg. And get really sound advice for 15 minutes. You can't solve all a company's problems in 15 minutes. But I had that experience when I had a small business, talking to a guy who charged 2,800 Rand an hour. I was able to get a 15-minute consultation with him, and I couldn't afford him after that. But the value I got out of that was so great that I went back and I had another 4 sessions with him, and he actually helped me a lot in my business. So it's getting that idea of go and talk to people who can help you in areas where you're weak. And everything on that consultation station is built around the fact that you can't run a company without someone to make the product, someone to sell the product, and someone to look after the money.
Okay, so you raised something that has brought up something I'm quite interested in. People who run conferences, people who run events, any of us who work in media and marketing, sponsors are so important to us.
Yes.
And as you say, inevitably that first meeting, they'll turn around, they'll say, well, it is a crowded space, or it's got to be really different. And they're tired of hearing the same pitch. I mean, granted. So perhaps from the perspective of someone who's looking to attend one of these conferences, has a limited budget on the tickets and all that kind of thing, how do you assess which ones are the ones that are really serious and have some gravitas and will deliver on their promise, and those that perhaps are just taking advantage of and exploiting the space? And it seems to me that one place to look might be to look at the sponsor, the credibility of the sponsor, the brand strength of the sponsor, because they wouldn't take a risk to associate with something that is a fly-by-night, not if they've done their homework, surely.
Absolutely. Our a motto that we have, and I live by it when I go and talk to a sponsor, is first of all, you got to listen, and secondly, you have to also figure it out for yourself. What does the sponsor want? What will make him give you the amount of money you need, and what will make it worthwhile for him? And if you do your homework on that, and you strategize, and you get a mentor, for example, which I did, to give me an idea of how do I approach this kind of client, and you go and give them a proposal that would be stupid to say no to, because it's going to result in them having better clients, and you're putting an offering on the table that, win, lose or fail, they are going to get excellent publicity and hopefully some new signings or new clients out of it. So that's how we've approached getting sponsors, is making sure that they They get, and we give extra value. We give more value than we've even promised them. Because I don't want to go and chase a new sponsor every single year. I would like to give them so much value that they come and knock on my door next year, hopefully. Or as a partner, we go forward in it, and it's good for all of us.
Is this the first year that the conferences are happening?
We ran a test run in Joburg last year. We got 170 people to the conference. Now, our goal initially is to get 200 people to the conference. So it's not a massive conference, but the intimacy of it means that the networking involved is enormous, as well as everyone getting value out of it. So we ran a test event in Johannesburg, and I'm not sure if you're familiar with the lean concept, but we ran everything lean from the start, and we gave it a test, and we invited our friends, we invited every business owner we know, we sold some of our tickets, we got a few sponsors to help us just get it off the ground, and it was a resounding success.
Awesome.
We definitely would like more people to attend, but we know that we're in the right direction because we've already got somewhere upwards of 80 bookings for Joburg already, and that's way down the line. So we're doing something right. But I think the one thing that also distinguishes us is that we listen. And what I mean by that is 2 weeks before the conference, everybody who's booked receives contact from us saying, what do you want out of, for example, there are 8 speakers. What do you, and four topics, What do you want to know about finance? Do you want to know about investing? Do you want to know about import, export? And we'll get a predominantly red thread from every single one of those 4. And then we'll go to our speakers and say, listen, these are the issues you've got to contact, within your field of expertise.
Don't take the talk that you did last year. Don't
And
take
use it
that
again.
off the shelf.
Yeah.
Definitely. This is what they want to know about right now.
Tailor
and,
it for
and
the
so
audience.
give it to them. And it works because, everyone gets something out of it in that way.
Therein lies one differentiator already.
Yeah, exactly. Lloyd was talking earlier on those 4 topics with 8 speakers ranged across finance with funding and management, business strategy with product development and positioning, operations and logistics with flow of production and services, as well as promotion, e.g. sales and marketing. I stand under correction, but that's more or less what you were talking about, yeah?
Correct, yes.
Okay, fantastic. Quick one, price, where can people book and give us a website?
Right. The website address is smmeconference.com. And for bookings, they can just mail me, lloyd@livingyourbrand.co.za.
Is it an expensive process for those tickets?
Tickets cost 990 Rand.
That's for the full day.
That's for the full day. It includes an amazing lunch.
You got good caterers in, Lloyd.
But yeah, we actually do. But it's also, to do the event properly and there's a lot of extra things that people get at the conference which isn't even marketed, to be honest.
Yep.
But we are specifically targeting the sort of 1 to 2 million Rand a year companies and up. And, if you're turning over that and you are serious about growing your company and improving the way that you run things, you can afford 990 Rand. And that's also for our exhibitors. We have a responsibility to them that they are not collecting, they're not talking to people and not that there's anything wrong with this, but that's not our market. They're not talking to people who are considering starting a business or thinking of an idea or any of that kind of thing. It's people with businesses who have issues that they want to solve to go forward. So, and that's exactly where we're positioning ourselves. So the price is 990 Rand.
Fantastic. The website is smmeconference.com. You can go and have a look at all of the details on the website. That conference happens in Cape Town on the 24th of March, Johannesburg on the 23rd of June, and Durban on the 29th of September. Lloyd Kirsten from Living Your Brand, the small business growth spokesperson, the head of brand development, etc. Thank you for joining us today on The Business. We really appreciate your time. Good luck with this. I hope it really does well.
Thank you very much. I appreciate the time
Thank
you
you,
gave
Lloyd.
me.
And thanks for flying all the way up from Cape Town.
Yeah.
The Business on Balls. Weekdays 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. On balls.co.za. Brought to you by FNB Business Banking.